Welcome back. Today we are doing lesson 15-6, which is use data from a table. And we're starting with an afternoon schedule. Well, we used a schedule every day at school. We had it right on the side of the board, so we kind of knew what we were going to be doing during every class period. And that's what a schedule is for. It's to keep us on track, make sure we get everything accomplished that we need to, and also so that we know what we need to prepare for each thing. So on the front of yours, I picked one of our afternoon schedules. So at 12:05 every day, we came in from recess, and what did we do? Everyone went to the bathroom, washed our hands, and got ready for the afternoon. At 12:15, most days we did handwriting. If you want to fill this out, you can. Don't feel like that you need to. I would like you to put the times. And remember, when you write the time, it's the hour, ... followed by the minutes. So this time was 12:05. This time is 12:15. Then we have 12:45. At 12:45, we had religion. At 1:15, we had science. And at 1:50, we had our closing activities for the day. We got everything we needed packed up to go home, and we were prepared for prayer. Okay, so you can see our afternoon schedule, and it always followed in order. Sometimes we would change the order of things, but when we did that, we would change it on our schedule so that we knew we were going to do things in a certain order. And it always follows in time order fashion. We always did this before this before this before this, and this before this. The last thing we would do is get ready to go home. Okay? So go ahead and open your paper up to the middle. And let's look at the top. It says, read and understand. What activity is between reading and recess in Mr. Diaz's room? Well, I can check the activity schedule. So here's the schedule, and here's reading, and here's recess. So what activity is between reading and recess? Well, I can see right there. Math. Math is between reading and recess. Math starts at 9 o'clock. Let's look back. So we read and understand. What is the question? We plan. Where can we find the answer? We solve. We find the answer. And then we look back and check. I can go back to the table to check my answers. And go back to the question. What activity is between reading and recess? It is math at 9 o'clock. I checked. I'm correct. Okay? Use Mr. Diaz's class schedule to answer the questions. Circle the activity that starts at the time shown. So now we're going to use our clocks, telling time, and find out which activities. So if the hour hand is on the 8 and the minute hand is on the 12, we say 8 o'clock. What do we do at 8 o'clock? We look at the schedule, 8 o'clock. We do reading, circle reading. The next clock. Well, how do we read that? This is a digital clock. We read the hour and then the minutes. This is 10:30. What happens at 10:30? Find 10:30, and we have art. Number 3, look at the analog clock. The hour hand is after the 11, but it hasn't reached the 12 yet, and the minute hand is on the 6. How do I read that time? 11:30. 11:30. So look up here at 11:30, we have lunch. Remember when you look at an analog clock, and remember when I was looking at the hour hand, I said, well, it's past the 11, but it hasn't made it to the 12 yet. So it's definitely the hour of 11. Be careful. Do you understand? What happens 1 hour after art? Well, let's look at art. Art is at 10:30. 1 hour later is 11:30. So we have lunch. Okay. Use the schedule to answer the questions. This time you're using this schedule over here. And this is our nature trip. So what time is this? 10 o'clock. What do? We go for a walk. At 11 o'clock, we bird watch. At 12 o'clock, we have lunch. At 12:30, we make a birdhouse. At 1:30, we pick flowers. And you should be able to read all those times by now. So let's use that schedule to answer the questions. Number 4, which activity do children do just before the bird watch? So put your finger on the activity that the children do just before the bird watch. Do you have it? Well, here's bird watch. Right before bird watch, we walk. So go ahead and write walk. Make sure you spell it correctly. It's right in front of you. Number 5, which activity do children do just after lunch? Put your finger on the activity that the children do just after lunch. Well, there's lunch. After lunch, do you have make a birdhouse? Make a birdhouse. There's not a lot of room here, but I will start it out here. Make a birdhouse. If you write small, you can do it. All set? Put your finger on number 6. What time does pick flowers begin? Put your finger on it. What time does pick flowers begin? Put your finger on it. Well, here's pick flowers. What's the time? Is your finger on 1:30? Excellent. So remember, it's 1 dot dot 3 0. How'd you do? Good. Number 7. Which activity starts at 12 o'clock? Put your finger on it. Which activity starts at 12 o'clock? Put your finger on it. Well, there's 12 o'clock, and there's the activity. So go ahead and write lunch. Somebody must have been hungry when they planned this activity because I see lunch here and here and here. All right. Let's look at the back page. We have another schedule. We have a camp schedule. I'm trying to make it so you can really see what I'm doing. It says, use the table to answer the questions. Here's the table. It says, which activities take a half hour? Which activities take a half hour? Well, let's look at swimming. If I start at 12:30 and I go to 1:30, that's a whole hour. Okay? So let me write the times over here. 12:30, 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, and 3:30. Okay? From 12:30 to 1:30, right? If you have your clock and it's at 12:30, you have to go all the way around the clock to get to 1:30. So that's 1 hour. I should have brought my clock with me. Sorry about that. Do you understand that if you're at 12:30 and you go all the way around to 1:30, that minute hand has to go all the way around the clock and get to the bottom. So that's a full hour. But so now make your clock at 1:30. If your clock is at 1:30 and it goes to 2 o'clock, how many minutes was that? That was 30 minutes. So that was a half hour, right? So from 1:30 to 2 o'clock is a half an hour. So that activity is baseball. So I'm going to write baseball over here. Do you understand that to go from 1:30 to 2 o'clock, that minute hand was on the 6 and it went up to the 12. So that's a half hour. Okay. 2 to 2:30. So you're at 2 o'clock. Make your clock say 2 o'clock and now go to 2:30. Is that an hour or a half hour? Just a half hour. It went, the minute hand went from the 12 to the 6. That's a half hour. So from 2 to 2:30 is snack. That took a half hour. Now I'm at 2:30. So the minute hand is on the 6, 2:30, and now I've got to go all the way around the clock to 3:30. That is 1 hour. Does that make sense? I will make sure I have my clock tomorrow when we do our review. It's going to be very important that you have your clock tomorrow for the review. So the two activities that took a half hour, baseball, right, from 1:30 to 2, that was a half hour, and then snack, 2 to 2:30 was a half hour. But from 12:30 to 1:30 was an hour, and from 2:30 to 3:30 was 1 hour. Number 9, what time does animal talk begin? What time does animal talk begin? Well, there's animal talk, 2:30. And we don't have any schedule right now because we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. So don't worry about that one. Okay? So here is your homework. Problem solving. Use data from a table. And you have pages 227. All of this information is using this schedule right here. And then page 228. Here is your schedule here that you answer questions from. And tomorrow we will do our big review and our test. If you are having any trouble with time, let me know. I can Zoom with just you. I could do a FaceTime with you, and I could work on it to make sure that you are really prepared to do a good job on the test tomorrow, because it is a grade, and I know you can do this. So if you're having any trouble, let me know. Okay? I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.